curse on our village. The curse of Frankenstein.
Father was Frankenstein, that your mother was the lightning.
The most dreaded creation of man, the monster of Frankenstein, stalks again. Here is a story completely new. Here is drama completely strange, full of weird suspense. With this great cast, Sir Cedric Hardwicke, Lionel Atwill, Ralph Bellamy, Bela Lugosi, Evelyn Ankers, Lon Chaney, in the gripping tale of a monster the tomb cannot engulf, chains cannot hold.
You're going to give him life?
Yes. Not for the purposes that you think, Igor. I'm giving him another brain.
Is that your shower, husband? Yes, yes.
The villagers are getting out of hand, Doctor. If you expect the protection of my office, you'll have to be frank with me. I think the time's come for a showdown, Doctor.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to a special Wednesday night mini-sode of the Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
I'm alive. It's alive.
He's alive, and I think we're all feeling pretty alive tonight. Hopefully, all you've been feeling alive all day, because today's a very special day. That's why this is a very special episode. So thanks everybody tuning in tonight, because I want to take this opportunity.
Special.
Yeah, it's a special, and I want to take the opportunity to wish everybody a happy Frankenstein Day. This should be the time where I have a sound effect queued up or some kind of cool little graphic, but I don't. No, I could sit here and make some ridiculous noises, but no. Take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy Frankenstein Day. This is a day that's celebrated every August 30th, and it is the birthday of the author of the original novel, Mary Shelley. Her birthday was August 30th, and my friend Sleepy Steve hanging out in the YouTube chat.
Mary.
Don't you call me dirt? Yes, happy birthday, Mary. So this is an opportunity to celebrate Mary Shelley. Obviously, she had a huge body of work outside Frankenstein, but this novel, it has its own day for a reason, because the story is kind of timeless. It really is the ultimate representation of science gone wrong. And so it's inspired a lot of interesting.
Speaking of science gone wrong.
Yeah,
Speaking of science gone wrong, I've just got an alert on my. I just got It's a storm alert on my computer that lists the miles. The storm's only 200 and some change miles away,
Uh-oh, you better look at it.
and I so we're it makes me feel like it's gonna start counting down, which makes this an even scarier episode.
Yeah, I guess so. The stakes get higher every minute, so that's definitely it's definitely good. I think the perfect way to celebrate Frankenstein Day is watching a little bit of spooky Frankenstein media because there's so much out there. And of course, last year we celebrated Frankenstein Day by having a whole symposium on Frankenstein and its journey from the novel to the stage to the screen. And so I won't rehash all that again. We gave a lot of the facts. And so tonight's more of a standard mini-sode where we try to find something that's a little in line with the things that we've already talked about on this show. And we've got a kind of the perfect storm lined up for this evening, Evan. So yeah, I think your computer's on the right track.
Oh God, another storm.
It's yes, tonight's episode's bringing a storm. And the name of that storm is Lon of Frankenstein, starring Lon Chaney Jr. as the monster. And Lon Chaney Jr., of course,
We just can't get enough of that guy.
we can't. We started our mini-sodes off last Wednesday, and we're watching a whole series on Wednesdays of a horror anthology series that's hosted by Lon Chaney Jr. Of course, we're diverting this week, but that's the other thing. I wanted to stay on the theme of Lon Chaney. And so this is the kind of the perfect like time to show this piece of public domain television, live television. This was a live television broadcast, as most early programs were at the time, and we got a little taste of that a few mini-sode series ago when we watched Lights Out, which was a horror anthology series. Tonight's episode comes from a science fiction anthology series from that time called Tales of Tomorrow, which is how the announcer says it in the but you know, it's much more echoey. And
Which is kind of funny because Frankenstein's usually like tales from yesterday.
kind of, but it really, I think by a lot of prominent scholars is considered the one of the first science fiction novels. And so there's a way that sometimes specific adaptations, which is what we talked about last year, but also just the themes keep getting brought up and reinterpreted year after year after year. It doesn't stop, right? So
It's one of those that it's always set in the near future.
of old school stuff. It's still, you know, I mean, especially in the second movie that follows it up, there's cars and things. Or wait, is there a car in the? There's definitely a car in the third one. That's for sure.
That Tesla coil was really cutting edge back then.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even tell you how many Tesla coils I've seen in my life just by watching all these Frankenstein movies. And again, in that symposium, we watched the trailers for about, I don't know, probably 12 different Frankenstein movies, and then also the Edison version of Frankenstein, which was from 1910, I believe. And we had a lot of fun with the Edison edition. And you know, that was pretty crude, obviously, coming from 1910, but fun. Tonight's Adam.
In that one, he tries to bring an elephant back to life with electricity.
Right. And then when everybody realized that Edison was just recycling footage and he had just, you know, reversed it, everybody's like, wait a minute, okay, this guy's a hack. We're gonna stop watching Edison's film. I mean, again, Edison really tried to, and we talked, I won't go too much, but Edison tried to take over the entire film industry in the early 1900s. He tried to get patents and copyrights on everything. And again, we're a public domain show here, so boo Edison, boo, murdering that elephant. How dare he? Yeah. Yeah, but it's funny again, and this is the common misconception with Frankenstein, that the original novel doesn't even mention electricity. There's no mention of how the monster is brought to life. No gadgets, no gizmos, no nothing.
It's like alchemy or something, right? It's just vague science.
Yeah.
Secret.
All leading up to the creation
processes.
scene. Yeah, it's Victor Frankenstein studying a little bit of this, studying a little bit of that, little alchemy, a little biology, a little bit of everything. And then before you know it, he's got this thing that is like waking up. And so obviously from the 1931 movie on, most people fill in the gaps with electricity. And I mean galvanism, which I believe that's what that's called. Using electricity to, isn't that galvanism? Galvanism was popular at the time that the original novel, it wasn't popular, but it was becoming a topic in like scientific circles. And so some people believe that Mary Shelley was influenced by galvanism, but her novel doesn't kind of linked the two inextricably. Are you looking it up? Can you cross-check me?
I was trying to look up Calvinism to find a joke there, but I don't. It might be a bit of a stretch.
Oh, hold on. Let me get out my 1940s joke book here. I'm sure there's something. I'm sure I can find something.
Yeah. Let's try that just one more time. So maybe you'd say oh, your galvanism was becoming really popular at the time, and I said no, that his name was John or something. There's something there. I don't know. We'll workshop it.
Hold on. See, this is where I'm gonna get there. Now that we don't have Fresh, I'm on my own, but I don't know that anybody will hear this. But when you did that, this is what I should have done. Now you can't. I don't think you can hear that, Evan. But I played some cricket sounds, so that's. Oh, and now they can't see your picture because I covered it up. There it is. So I can't do that because then it'll cover up your beautiful, beautiful face.
I was eaten by the crickets.
You were. They got you. So yeah, you could make that joke. Sure. You got there. See, I'd press the golf clap button now, but it's just too much for me to operate the soundboard. But anyway, this is kind of like definitely using the whole electricity thing. Tonight's television episode is 23 minutes. So it's a little longer than the Edison adaptation, but they basically try to condense the whole story into 23 minutes. So you can you can imagine, well, not the whole story. It's really, really, really interesting. Because I've seen this before. It's been a long time, so I'm excited to watch it again. But I first saw this like when I was a kid, because I for the life of me I still have the little public domain like box that we bought it with. But I watched it maybe when I was like 7.
Out of the archive.
But yeah, I'm not gonna get over here because then you'll see my light. But I have it still, and I watched it I guess when I was 7 or 8, and I mean obviously I was like stoked because this stars Lon Chaney Jr., who if you don't know was like really at one time considered the king of the monster movie actors because he played most of the big monsters. He played Frankenstein's monster in the trailer that we watched, that we saw in our pre-roll. And you see him here adorning my shirt. He's kind of, at this time in 1951, his career was kind of on the downhill. And he was, he had been considered a big star at one time. And so of course he plays Frankenstein's monster, and I was really stoked about that. But as a kid, I even knew, all right, this is a little rinky dink because it's live TV. It's completely live. And so, there's flubs, there's things that don't go quite right. There's been a lot of controversy about that when it comes to Lon Chaney Jr.'s performance in this. And I won't say too much. We'll kind of talk about it as we go, but let's just say that Lon Chaney Jr. was a heavy drinker throughout his career. And so multiple people have attested to the fact that Chaney had been drinking during this live production.
This is that one.
This is that one. This is an infamous piece of television history because it was kind of showed everybody the perils of live television. And it's funny because I had always heard this story, and today was really the first time in doing research that I read some firsthand accounts of people who attested that yes, he was drunk. But basically the kind of misunderstanding whether he was drunk or not was that he mistook this live broadcast for the rehearsal. That's kind of the excuse that he used. Oh well,
because it's totally fine to show up plastered to the rehearsal.
Well, and it's more out of the specific things that he does in his action as a character. And we'll see. I won't give it all away, but he's supposed to do some things that he doesn't do, and he says some words that he's not supposed to say because the monster isn't supposed to speak. And so we'll see if we can catch it. We'll see. We'll be on the it's if you go online, you'll read different things. The top foam of everything will bring up the drunk stuff, but then a lot of the other reviews are like, but Chaney gives a really good performance. So I'll let you be the judge.
We'll let it slide because he's really good at acting even when he's drunk.
I mean, again, most of his career he was getting pretty wasted. And the source that I have idol of it is it's terrible. What is it? Oh, I X'd it off. But it's all about Lon Chaney Jr. being drunk. And he's kind of detailing in vivid detail like how much he drank and that he was drinking too and just all this stuff. So I mean, I'll talk more about it.
I wonder what he was drinking.
What? Well, we'll have to find out later. And
all right, I'm not trying to plug the segment. That was just
Evan, shameless. That was a real shameless plug for your own segment there, Evan. No, but we will find out at the end of tonight's episode. It could be very controversial, so stick around. But yeah, it's
a controversial episode, controversial segment.
Again, it's all lining up. The other star of tonight's episode, who's pretty someone pretty near and dear to our hearts here on the show, is John Newland as Dr. Frankenstein. And of course, John Newland, John Newland. And he appeared
he's back.
Of course, as the host of One Step Beyond, which we watched in our first season of Mini-sodes, like all the way back in March of
It's been a long
22. I don't know. We haven't seen John Newland in a minute, so get ready to and again, we only saw him in his capacity as host. Here we get to see him in his capacity as hammy TV actor. He does a great job. He's great. The whole production, from like surprisingly many elements of the story down to the personalities of the actors involved, the more I thought about it, reminded me of the Netflix special Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein, which after tonight's show, if you haven't seen that, if you've got Netflix, go on Netflix and watch Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein, because there are so many parallels, which I'll talk about at the end of tonight's episode. But so that's a tease. That's looking for something to watch after, right as you go to bed. It's only 30 minutes and it's hilarious. So it's lines up.
Like this show was made for us.
It really was. It was definitely made for me.
Checking a lot of boxes. I'm very interested.
Wait, which show?
That we were about to watch this episode.
This particular episode, yeah. Oh yeah, no, it is. It lines up perfectly. The Franken-Dirt's monster, Sleepy Steve. You don't even want to see Franken-Dirt's monster. Okay, Franken-Dirt's monster is a force to be reckoned with. It's my rapper's name. No, my mixtape's not ready yet. No. But yeah, so I mean, again, this is the perfect way to celebrate Frankenstein Day and Lon Chaney Jr. and live television and John Newland and all the things that we love here on this show. So anything before we get into it tonight, Evan?
I got nothing. I'm ready.
All right. And just tell you before we get into, we will take a break. I'll let you know right before when. So have your finger on the pause button.
Okay.
Be ready for it. All right. Well, if you've got it queued up,
I do.
Then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of the Tales of Tomorrow adaptation of Frankenstein right now. It's a little loud.
Thrill tonight to the most famous tale of a science-created monster. We present Frankenstein, starring Lon Chaney, with John Newland and Mary Alice Moore.
Boom, right in.
All right, very well. Have your laugh. You asked me to describe my idea of a perfect
That was an
human being,
aggressive cut.
Yeah. I think they had a commercial there.
And you're so serious
originally.
The perfect human being should be a giant in size, strong as a gorilla, disease-proof, durable, and quick to learn. Oh, it's so impossible.
It is not impossible, and I didn't say should be. I said will be.
Oh, does that word make a difference?
It probably does. You know, even when Victor Frankenstein was a student of mine, he was brilliant. And since then, he's shown amazing talent.
Amazing
but above
creepiness.
All, he's always said what he meant. Now tell me, Victor, what did you mean when you said will be?
I think medical science is ready to make an artificial human being.
There he is. Look at that profile. That ascot.
Since you find this so amusing, Elizabeth, what's your idea of a perfect man?
You, darling.
I think Victor's cousin is trying to answer that question for you.
There's a perfect man.
Oh, see how he walks.
Where do you must be going, Elizabeth?
Is he playing with a pineapple?
You've given us a delightful evening, but we have to catch that train back to Geneva.
Please don't rush. Matthew will row you back to the mainland.
The mainland?
Will you be coming again soon?
Very soon, darling. We'll let you know. Oh, this old castle. Only you would select such a place in the middle of a lake. What was your reason? To get away from me? You can't, you know.
Well, Victor's always liked a quiet place to work.
Is that the reason?
That, and it's picturesque.
And?
Sure, a creepy castle on an island, picturesque, I guess.
Something.
But he's buried
Fully accessible by rowboat.
You can't leave it without a rowboat. It might almost be a prison.
I prefer to travel by kayak.
Once. Oh, please, darling, finish your brandy.
Oh, my dear. You sound as if you thought Victor...
This is good brandy, and I won't have you waste it.
No. But he won't tell us what he's been experimenting with. You said yourself how talented and original Victor is. Perhaps he has been making an artificial man. He's been so preoccupied lately.
Elizabeth.
Ooh, she called it.
At you with a little joke of her own.
Why do you think I'm joking, Father?
Because Victor is a good scientist. He knows where to draw the line between what can be done and what is impossible. become wings the other way.
Not sure Victor's
I feel
talent has
cue
any
Curb
such
Your
limits.
Enthusiasm music.
Thank you, Larry.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dead look in his eyes as the camera zooms in.
With my recorder. William, please shut it off.
We've been recording our laughter. Why?
Why, Victor's the most ethical scientist I've ever met.
Emotions for some work I'm doing.
For your artificial man?
No, please, no more of that, my dear. You'll be having me thinking that way, too. And you shouldn't, really, in this 16th century castle.
Whoa, you're bumping into the sound guy, buddy. Chill out.
I hope you're not that anxious to leave. Are you?
No, of course not. Take care of yourself, darling. You don't look well. I've been worried about you. Good night, William. Good night.
Oh, that thing's creepy looking. Creepy.
The niece.
the little niece. The little nephew. The lab. My mind is in the lab.
So they don't have quite as many Tesla coils as you might hope, but
No, but they. And so look at this overhead shot in live television. This was a kind of a big deal back in the day. And you know what they did?
What? Was it a mirror?
It was a mirror. Yeah, they shot into a mirror.
Yeah. Hey, work smarter, not harder.
The tricks of live television back in the day. We saw that with Lights Out. We saw him do some crafty things.
Science laughs at the idea of a man being a creator.
Monologue time.
Well, I have created you.
Get it, John.
I've made you stronger than 10 men. You're indestructible. And now I should give you life. Now I should give you life. Now.
What's it gonna do?
Oh, I'm feeling it, man. The volts. Oh shit, okay.
That's something.
The machine's whiz and burr.
Yeah, they're flashing a little bit.
That was only a test. Or I guess that was it, actually. That was probably it. They only have 23 minutes. It can't be a long creation scene.
Yeah.
He's going
The
again.
interesting part of the Frankenstein story is never like anything before Frankenstein was created.
Yeah.
The monster.
Which is, of course, not at all how the novel works. The creation scene is like the smallest portion of the novel. You're like, what the hell? There's no scene here.
Yeah.
And then I was born.
Kind of glossed over the early life of okay, here we go. Makeup's not terrible.
No.
Kind of looks like a Halloween mask.
And it's funny how many other films would be maybe not directly inspired by this makeup, but basically use a similar makeup. And it's kind of...
Yeah, I definitely feel like I've seen this mask before.
Most notably, Robert De Niro's Frankenstein pretty much looked like this.
No, you're not ready for science yet.
You can't go out looking like that. We've got to get you a whole new wardrobe. I would not want to be on a live set with Lon Chaney Jr. when he was hammered. If part of his job was to push me around, because you know he's really pushing. He's gonna be forceful. His live TV performances are scary. Yes, he is essentially method.
Rest. Sit. Sit. Rest. Rest. You must stay secured here for a few days. There's a great deal.
Somebody needs to call protective services on Dr. Frankenstein, and he's going to leave that poor child there for 4 days.
We'll teach you everything you need to know. Everything. Now.
All right, now sit still.
You've had
a good boy.
You've had a big day. Time for bed. I mean, he's definitely like getting into it. I mean, he's, you know, and he looks scary.
That didn't take long.
Just a pelvic thrust and bang off that table.
That's what every other Frankenstein movie is missing, is the monster pelvic thrust.
Right.
You never saw Karloff do that move.
No. You did not. That's a pretty wild shot for television because,
Heard what they were saying at dinner.
you know,
You
some
think
perspective.
that
You don't normally get that.
Dr. Frankenstein,
The sets here are pretty good.
He's not as clever as all that. No one is.
So we're gonna break at basically the end of this scene.
His research equipment.
Okay.
It's very valuable.
But who's to steal it? No one can get to the island without the rowboat, and there's only one boat on the lake. Whatever he's got in that room, it's not just equipment.
Sierra Elise, you're not to be nervous or upset. Miss Elizabeth is just a hysterical
He's got
young
another
woman.
rowboat
So
hidden
you
in
think
the
women
lab.
are hysterical?
Now, I didn't mean you. You know how smart I think you are.
Oh, you're just saying that to get around me. You think all women have no sense.
Do you think that's why he made the monster, to have somebody to row him?
Yeah, it would definitely make it easier getting back and forth across the island.
Gosh, if you were trying to put on a rowboat, that's a workout.
No, I could not imagine.
Who are you? What are you? Hey,
The door was open. What do I do with my hands?
Did you see what he was talking as he left the set right there? That was him saying save for later. Alright, and we're gonna break right
Wait for it.
here. Okay. So that is gonna take us to our first break. What do we think so far, Evan?
Well, yeah, we're for being a pretty quick, adaptation. It feels like we've hit the beats that I would expect to hit by now.
Right. Yeah. Monsters alive.
We just watched OG Frankenstein not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, and I think it took him longer than 12 minutes to hit the same beats.
Yeah, it definitely did. It was. I don't think they get to the creation of the monster until like about 20 minutes in. They definitely build it out a little more. Here, you get all your characters in the
Like
draw room at the beginning. You know what you're dealing
yeah,
with.
it's Frankenstein. You know what you're getting into.
You've heard the story. You know the story. Everybody knows the story.
All right, skip to the lightning. Yeah, it's alive. We know.
Yada yada yada. We all know that part. Thank God John Newland spared us that. At least he didn't give us the try to do his rendition of that, because that's just always, anytime I hear that in a movie, I'm just like, even when it's a Frankenstein movie, there have been Frankenstein movies that have still tried to use "it's alive," and I'm just like, we got to move on. Like, that's my thing. Like, it's funny that you brought up earlier, aren't Frankenstein movies, isn't this more of like a tale from yesterday as opposed to a tale of tomorrow? And it's like, well, I think that the newest adaptations, anything that's a little more like in the now or in the future, is interesting than doing a period piece. But a lot of especially big budget studio adaptations tend to go period piece, and I'm not here for it. And tonight,
you could just watch the original.
You could, exactly, and you should. And that's
that's kind of the thing about adaptation. Like, there's so many adaptations of Frankenstein, and like the way each one handles it, and kind of like what makes a good adaptation to begin with.
Right. Yeah, they do different things with the lore.
If you're too yeah if you don't change enough, then people complain. If you change too much, people complain.
Yeah, and they definitely do. I mean, again, this kind of makeup job often gets derided, but I mean, it's actually a kind of interesting how they got this makeup, and this ties into the whole was Lon chairs. Go ahead.
So there's stitches on his face because he drunkenly fell.
Yeah. He got had a real nasty fall. When he had finished 5 quarts of schnapps. Then that wasn't even a makeup job. That was he had just came from the hospital. They still contracted him to do the show. They deemed him fit to work. No.
Doctor wouldn't write him out.
I would hope not.
Doctor's note: the doctor prescribed him to go back to work.
Stitch him up. It's gonna look better for the show. It's now, why get a makeup job? Honestly, Lon Chaney Jr. probably would have preferred to just like bust his head open and go get stitches in his forehead than sit in the makeup chair. Lon Chaney Jr., if you know anything about like his history as a monster actor, he hated sitting in the makeup chair, especially at Universal with the guy who did like the main makeup. Created all the makeup, applied all the makeup.
What? He's like the king of the monsters.
He's a king of the monsters.
He hated makeup.
Well, he hated the guy that applied the makeup. Well, and it's funny because his father,
hated the guy?
His father was one of the most renowned, silent movie actors, but also was really well known for his skills in makeup. And obviously what he did in Hunchback of Notre Dame, which we watched on the show a couple seasons ago, Phantom of the Opera. Of course, most people know Phantom of the Opera. He really he was really known for his makeup. And so Lon Chaney Jr. tended to be critical of other makeup people because he always my father would do this. Like my father would do.
Oh, well, my dad wouldn't do it this way.
Yeah, basically that. Like that's essentially what how he fell. And he accused the makeup man at Universal of doing things like to hurt him deliberately, like while he was in the makeup chair. Things and like all this stuff, and who knows if Lon Chaney Jr. I don't think always was the most truthful in interviews, but I'm sure there were instances where he got burned and poked and scratched. I don't know if it was deliberate, but basically this episode, he told the
Price of beauty.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But he told the makeup man for this, I won't wear any prosthetics. I'm not like, as soon as like they met for the first time, he's like, I'm not going to wear any prosthetics at all. My dad used cotton and collodion, and that's what I want you. Just use that. That's all I will allow you to use. And the makeup man went to the producer, and the producer,
au natural Frankenstein.
which again, it hadn't really been done up to this time, but then there are numerous examples after. And again, especially if you go look up Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or you look up Robert De Niro Frankenstein, because he plays Frankenstein's monster in that adaptation. It's a very similar makeup with the stitches across the face and the bald head. So it's kind of what, and then there have been other, there was a Hammer Films adaptation where the monster was bald and had some stitches, and it's definitely a more economical look for a makeup artist for sure. I mean, but it is, if you got to make a bald cap and do stitches, that's all a little more time consuming. And we got a new chatter in the house. What's up? Over on YouTube. How's it going? Hello. And so yeah, I mean, he just like was very restrictive over what the makeup guy could do for this, and so they like did a makeup test basically, and Chaney and the guy kind of like talked it out, and they drank a whole bunch the whole time.
I was gonna ask, was he drunk for that one too?
Yeah, he was drunk for that one. Apparently, according to the makeup man, he was hiding it from his wife, like telling the makeup man, like, don't let my wife. I'm not supposed to be drinking, so don't let her know. But of course, he's like sauced, like leaving the chair, like going away. But he did that. They did this test makeup, and there are actually pictures of this test makeup that survive, and that to me they look scarier than what they used in the actual show. But they scaled back a lot, so I don't know if he just used all his materials on the test makeup or what happened. But basically on the day of the show, kind of the same process. They came in, the makeup was going to take 4 hours. So they did a rehearsal, and then like he sat in the chair, got his makeup done, and drank like a whole bunch of liquor apparently. And the makeup guy, this is all according to the makeup man who was drinking along with him.
He didn't have anything else to do. He was just sitting in the chair.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, and
what else is he gonna do? Not drink?
Apparently, the actor playing the little nephew walked in, and like while like Chaney was drinking from like one of the bottles, and they were like the makeup guy was trying to shoo him away, and Chaney was like, "Oh no, like let the kids stay." The kid's mom had to like come and like take him out.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was the state he was in, and so then he gets on stage. He had been told in the rehearsal, okay, make sure that you grab this chair. This is the prop chair that you're supposed to break. Don't break this other chair. There are a couple other things he was told in rehearsal, and so then going into what was really the taping, but he, according to him, thought was another rehearsal, he kind of does the same thing with the chairs. He picks them up, puts them down.
He doesn't want to break them because he thinks that it's not the real take.
Right. And then again, if you go back and watch it, you'll definitely see that he has the second chair. He goes and he puts it, he's putting it to the side as he's about to leave the side of the set, and you see him mumble some stuff. Okay, again, his monster doesn't talk in this episode. He just, again, this was per Chaney's request that the monster have no lines and just grunt and moan and all that. So when you see Chaney's lips move, it's definitely him breaking character, and he's basically saying like, "Save this for later" or something like that. And
so maybe it's more the monster can talk, he just chooses not to.
It might be
a little shy.
It might be something along those lines. Just when he's about to leave frame, he like utters a few words. He is camera shy. But no, so
it's one of those people who like mumbles under their breath as they're leaving the room.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, so passive aggressive. He preferred a passive aggressive, playing it passive aggressively. But yeah, I mean, Lon Chaney Jr. definitely, it's minimal makeup here, but we're gonna have our break, and during the break, we're gonna watch a little snippet of a comedy sketch where Lon Chaney Jr. Apparently, it's Lon Chaney Jr. plays Frankenstein's monster, and he's wearing like the traditional Universal monster style Frankenstein's monster makeup, the flat top, and it looks exactly the same. But to me, it's almost to the point that I don't even know if it's actually Lon Chaney Jr. I mean, because it just looks too good. And this was either done the year before this or after this. I'm not quite sure, but it's a little snippet of a sketch from an episode that Abbott Costello did on the Colgate Comedy Hour. So it's a nice little it's a nice little bit. There were literally like 5 more minutes of this sketch before this that I cut out of, just kind of mundane, like, Costello flirting with a chick in a mummy's coffin, and then them doing the moving candle bit, which is a kind of a shtick of theirs. But this is a little snippet of another live television performance of Lon Chaney Jr. as the monster, and you can see he handles himself pretty capably here, although I will say he's definitely being rough and aggressive, which is that's what the character script called for it. But that's why I wouldn't want to act with Lon Chaney Jr. Hell no. God no. But this is a fun little sketch. So enjoy this sketch, and then when we come back, we'll get into the exciting conclusion of Frankenstein as we continue celebrating Frankenstein Day. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Watch that map. We've got to find that gold.
Now, Kendall, stay where you are. It says here there is a secret passage where there is money. If you would like to get a lot of money, all you have to do is get a couple of shovels.
What was the idea of that?
Well, keep your hands to yourself.
Keep whose hands?
I was reading a map and you hit me in the head.
Oh.
You did in my hat.
Who hit who?
You did.
I never touched.
Well, keep your hands to yourself.
I didn't hit you.
Don't do it again.
I didn't hit you.
Now, it says here, if you can get there's a secret passage, we can find some money. When you get the money, you can take the money and get out.
Wait a minute.
Now, once you get out...
What's the idea of hitting me?
Sure. So it says
Why?
You take the money, you find a secret... You was hit, too?
You know it. You hit me.
I hit you?
You must have hit me. Now, don't do it again.
I think there's somebody else besides you and me here.
Only Uncle Charlie.
You think so?
That's so. He's in the other room.
Okay.
Read your map.
Now, it says here that if we can find the secret passage... What? Now, wait, I got you that time, didn't I? I caught you. I caught you that time. Charlie, I'm going to tell Uncle Charlie. Uncle Charlie!
What do I
Uncle
care?
Charlie!
What's the matter?
I don't want the money. Give it to him. I don't want no part of the
What's the
whole
matter?
thing.
What's the matter, Lou?
He hit me.
All quiet. Nephew, look. We've got to find it. It must be underneath this table in a trap. Move the table. It must be somewhere it's not in the other room. Nothing down here. I have it. There must be a secret panel in this room behind which the gold is hidden. You search there, you here, and I'll search here. After the bag of gold.
I don't see no panel.
Hey, Abbott.
Hey.
I found a secret panel.
Hey, that's a secret door.
Come with me. Come on.
the matter? What's the matter?
Didn't I take you in there?
Yeah.
What are you taking me now?
Oh, you're just imagining these things.
Come on, what's more?
I found the gold.
You found the gold?
There it is. There you are, my boy.
Now you can put on the show.
My fortune is made.
You can put on the show now.
All mine. All gold. Can you imagine, Louis? All my life. All my... Oh.
What's the matter with him? Hey, Charlie! Hey, Charlie!
What's the matter, Little?
Your nephew!
And we are back. So yeah, that was a little snippet of a comedy sketch with Lon Chaney Jr. as Frankenstein's monster. You gotta love those old bits, right?
Yeah, what a bit.
What a bit, you know. Anytime that they can humiliate one of my classic monsters, you know, I love them. I really don't. There are a lot of Abbott Costello haters, like monster lovers, Abbott Costello haters, because they do kind of, to an extent, they really do use the monsters just for laughs, and which is not really what like somebody like what Bela Lugosi wanted when he like agreed to play Dracula in Abbott Costello Meet Frankenstein. He was like, well, I want to make sure that, you know, we're not the butt of the joke. I want to play it straight. And they do, but they're still, you know, it's just kind of,
I mean, it's a comedy.
It's a comedy, you know, and so everything's fair game.
The intention is just like, it's just a lot different.
Exactly. It is. And so, you know, they can be a little divisive when it comes to horror movie fans, but I've always loved Abbott Costello, and yeah, that's the, you know, again, a little example. Lon Chaney, what I'm told is Lon Chaney Jr. there, kind of in the
allegedly, presumably.
He looks to be in very good shape if it is him, like in terms of maybe they just were at like a Universal facility and had access to like more of the costume stuff and were able to just replicate it down to the
so, I mean, it certainly looks like OG Frankenstein, so much so that it could really be anybody under there,
right? Which is kind of how it became after Boris Karloff passed the torch to Lon Chaney Jr. That was kind of, a lot of people don't really, even though that's the kind of the flip side of Lon Chaney Jr. being the king of the monsters, is that now down the road, a lot of people will say that, well, he did a worse job than, you know, like picking up the other roles that he did. You know, he played Dracula, and that one's always derided. Even though I really liked his portrayal in Son of Dracula, but a lot of people are just, you know, what the hell is he doing playing a, you know, European vampire? You know, this you know, 6'4", 200 and whatever pound American man is just
We're
not
taking it in a different direction, okay?
Yeah, and even though it was Son of Dracula, which is I think why they didn't give it to him, and they were trying to bill Lon Chaney Jr. as the guy, but his performances just aren't as charismatic, but they're different. Like drunk or not drunk, it really doesn't matter in the end, you know. He's
full of very restrained rage.
Yeah, obviously.
I'm still like chuckling about the chairs. Just
Yeah.
picks it up, and then gently sets it down.
Yeah. And so apparently, I don't know if in this copy that we're watching the fades indicate where a commercial originally was, but what I've read was that at commercial break he was maybe told, like, this is the real deal. This isn't rehearsal. And so he was like, why didn't anybody tell me? It was just one of those things. But apparently, no, go ahead.
So during the second half, he's going to be fully engaged, is what you're saying.
Well, I was going to say that, but then I remembered that there apparently is another incident that happened later. I think it was according to the makeup man. I don't know if it's true or not, but apparently he had trouble with a door, to the point that he yelled out an expletive about the door, and they cut that out completely from the existing copies. So I was kind of really upset that we couldn't that wasn't included, but yeah,
that's a shame. That's what we really need from the monster, is he needs to swear very loudly.
Yeah, I mean, of course, what especially nowadays, what are the monster's first words more than likely gonna be? Curse words, right? I mean, what else, what else could they be?
Fuck.
Fuck. If I'm Frankenstein's monster, that's probably the second or third word that I learned. Fuck. I mean, I'm sure Dr. Frankenstein says it plenty as soon as he realizes the implications of what he... Fuck. I've created a monster. Fuck. I mean, that's what I would do. But and we'll see what our Dr. Frankenstein, John Newland, does here, how he handles this rampaging monster. Anything before we get into the exciting conclusion of Tales of Tomorrow's adaptation of Frankenstein?
We're already at a lake, which makes me a little nervous. Especially when we have there's a kid in the mix. We've got a kid and a lake. I don't like where this is going. But
true, that
we'll see.
Hasn't always worked out well. The two things don't mix. Lake, child, three things. Lake, child, Frankenstein's monster don't normally go together. Body of water. It doesn't even have to be a lake. So we'll see. Yeah, that's
yeah, it's like one of those puzzles where the fox eats the chicken and the chicken eats you got to get him across the water.
Right.
Frankenstein just throws the kid off the boat.
Right. Yeah. We'll it's pretty good, pretty likely. Yeah, no, we will see how we will see how Frankenstein handles his creation. So Evan, if you've got it queued up.
I am ready.
All right, then we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of our Frankenstein Day celebration special presentation right now.
He's a very disheveled looking Frankenstein.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty shabby.
With his coat hanging half off.
Oh, Evan.
Forward, my brave men! To victory! Charge! Forward! Forward! Now up and at them, and show them no quarter. Kill the enemy! Kill the enemy! They're mean and ugly! Mean and ugly! Kill the enemy!
Wow, go for it. Oh. Go away. Oh my god. Spoiled little brats in old movies and TV shows always bother me.
That's what you are. You're ugly. Ugly.
Damn. Oh, here we go. The classic scene. Monster sees his reflection in the mirror. Where are your scars? Jeez. Lon Chaney really hurt that kid.
William, what happened? What happened to him, Matthew? What is it, William?
He's ugly.
Bro, you did a terrible job. He's really ugly.
He's ugly.
Ooh.
Oh my god.
He did it again. I didn't realize he did it again. Ah. Oh. Ah.
Okay.
Spooky.
Creepy.
What did I do wrong? What did I overlook? I'm completely responsible, Matthew. Once I swore that I would.
Why did I give him hands?
I created a being with no thought of what would become of him. No thought of the danger involved. No thought of a tragedy like this. This could all have been prevented. Could have been prevented. I should never have started it.
A little tripped up there.
Never have started it. And now I'll get rid of it. What are you doing?
Yeah, the kid really did. That's what I'm like. I wonder if Lon Chaney really was roughing him up a little bit. I hope not.
He really shook that kid around a bit.
I was like, I don't know if the kid was just selling it really hard or if Lon Chaney was really fucking him up. Hope not. That's the thing. That's why I wouldn't want to act with Lon Chaney. He's a wild card.
He could just as easily set a chair down as he could choke you out. Oh my god.
He was like, went in. He was like he was doing the fake like neck break. Gah! We didn't have the budget for a torch.
Yeah.
You're gonna burn this place down.
Just let this piece of paper on fire.
I'm not curious about the gun. That was not scripted. No, I'm just kidding. It was. It was.
He just actually fell through the set.
No. No, just the water.
The water's got him now.
It's certain he's at the bottom of the lake. A broken neck.
You have a Jason Voorhees type situation.
This doesn't bring you back Elise, does it?
Gonna leave it open for the sequel.
Come in here. You mustn't come in here.
Yeah, we were talking about that other hate. Yeah, that was. It's kind of surprising how similar the two makeups are. I would like to think that they didn't watch this, but who knows? Maybe they were inspired by it.
it's all over and done. It's all over.
All over. Wink.
All over now.
I made Father bring me back. I've been so terribly worried about you. We talked of nothing but you all the way here. I had a feeling that something was wrong, that you were in danger.
It's over now, Elizabeth.
What is, darling?
I must tell you. I only pray that you'll understand. Do you remember the last time you were here we talked of my work?
Remember when you made fun of me?
Could be done,
Well,
what
guess
it would be
what?
like?
I did it.
Well, it was not idle talk, Elizabeth. I created a living, breathing creature.
You created?
Yeah, I know about your son.
Yes, now you must believe me. I was thinking only of the scientific achievement, of the immensity of it. I was thinking only of the power of creation. Somewhere something went wrong. Something went wrong. Elizabeth, I created a monster.
Monster.
Tonight he tried to kill William, and he did kill Elise. Thank God the danger's past now. He's dead at the bottom of the lake. But I had to tell you.
I'm glad you did.
Matthew just told me. What a terrible experience.
I already got it all.
Let's not talk about it anymore.
But Victor, the things you must have learned.
I shall never want to speak of it again.
Nonsense.
Now be cool, be cool.
To science and history. You've no right to keep it to
I
yourself.
had no right to start it.
But the experiment could be tried again, surely.
Oh shit.
He's dead. He's at the bottom of the lake.
Dr. Frankenstein, he's back. I swear.
He's back.
He's back.
And that's how I got into Julia.
Where are your guns? Where are your guns? Bullets won't stop him. I've done my work too well. Bullets won't stop him? I can't know the power and danger of this thing. It's evil and vicious. Now its only thought is to kill.
I built him too powerful.
I did too good of a job, guys. Sure, he's ugly, but he's indestructible.
You must be very brave. You and Elizabeth must try to lure him to my laboratory.
But this small boy.
The monster has the mind of a child. It's direct and very slow. Now you must be very brave. He must not know we're trying to trick him. Now listen, you play or sing or do whatever you like, but he must not know we're trying to trick him. Your father and Matthew and I will wait in the laboratory. Make your way there. He's sure to find it. I won't have it. There's nothing else to do. If we don't destroy him, we'll all be killed anyway.
This is my castle. I call the shots here. It's only a rental.
Give us just a few moments. And God bless you. Quickly.
Cool, so the plan hinges on this
Are
kid?
you scared, William?
Yep, pretty much. The little
So am I.
nephew.
But let's not let on, shall we? All right.
I got my wooden sword. I got my little tie. I'm ready to go. He must be cousin of Billy from Undersea Kingdom. What the fuck is that statue? Sing louder! Louder, I say!
For the love of heaven, stay back.
Hey, there's some inventive set design going on here. Ah!
I knew this scheme of yours wouldn't work.
We'll give them one more minute. I'm going down.
He was doing this.
What do
Damn. He's barbecued. Oh, mirror shot. And that was Tales of Tomorrow's Frankenstein. So, what did we think, Evan?
Okay, so yeah, got something auto playing. Okay, yeah. So born by electricity, died by electricity.
Yeah, bring the story full circle. All good stories do. They end how they began, right? So following the mold here, I think.
Yeah, as far as an adaptation goes, I guess it pretty, I mean, closer to the film than the book, but
Oh, absolutely.
yeah.
It's definitely just drawing from different film adaptations up to that point, and that's how it's getting its story. It's very, very, very little coming from the book. And especially that look of the monster. I mean, again, in the book, the monster has long black hair and yellow eyes and like white skin.
Yeah,
It's been a
like translucent skin.
yeah,
He's just really weird and ugly looking.
yeah. Well, as the little nephew said, you're ugly. And so definitely
It's just rude. Okay,
yeah,
kid.
I mean, a spoiled little brat, obviously. Not all of us can go around making little pineapple people toys. We don't all have the money to play with fruit like that, okay? But I guess if your uncle is rich and lives in an island castle, I guess you can get them
Yeah, you can afford a
shipped over
pineapple.
from the mainland.
Rode over, you mean?
Yeah, you just gotta row it over. This fruit was rode over fresh this morning. Yeah, I mean, Lon Chaney definitely he had some good moments in the back half, made up for his made up for his confusion early in the proceedings, but that's again
The chair debacle.
the
Yeah, he had some good when he was creeping closer to the camera, that was pretty
yeah.
effective.
Yeah. I mean, again, the that's definitely the best like shot in any monster movie, in my opinion, is the monster just coming straight at the camera and just with its hands, like, "Gah, I'm gonna get you." Yeah, it's it's intense, and yeah, they definitely used that. Did use it to good effect because the camera was even like it was even like pulling back as he was like because he was walking through the set and doing his hands like that, and the camera was moving back, so it was interesting to see the kind of the intricacies that they like. Again, I mean, very akin to Lights Out, I think, just in the sense of this being a live television production. I think, considering putting it in that context, I think it does a pretty good job. I think that technically there's a lot of commendable things like the set design and the camera work, trying to do like overhead shots in the lab. Hey, yeah, why not? It works. So again, like
Yeah, so as a send up to the original, I think it does work. As like it's the tricky thing about adaptations is if like we were saying, if it's just too similar to the original thing, then it's like, well, why don't you just go watch the original?
right, yeah, it can just be disengaging to a certain point if you're just watching a rehash of the same. You want to like know that people are putting in the energy to try to give you a different interpretation that is looking at it in some new and fresh way, you know?
And w- uh, other than I guess the makeup job, that's kind of a fresh. I mean, it's different,
Yeah.
you know. The no prosthetics thing.
Yeah.
What else does this really do? Anything else that's really that fresh?
No, no. Again, as you pointed out, it is just a lot of on an island, which is really weird. But yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely it's a nice little hodgepodge of all all the different interpretations of the monster in film up to that point and the story.
Which parts of this reminded you of uh Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein?
Oh my goodness. So it's funny, like if you combine John Newland and Lon Chaney Jr. into one person, that's David Harbour Jr. in Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein. Because basically, like, you know, so you have John Newland, who is this New York City acting school trained actor. And then Lon Chaney Jr., who is because again in Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein, he's David Harbour Jr., right? Like it's the right. He's the set. Comes from a long line of actors, right? That's Lon Chaney Jr.'s story. And so then like having the like niece nephew character, that's a little like I haven't seen that in too many other adaptations. Like it's I guess that's in some way supposed to be like a reference to the fact that like in the book the monster does end up killing Victor Frankenstein's little brother, right? But in a lot of movies, they don't normally make the child the little brother. And so like here, I don't know why they did. Now they said cousin, but when I've read other things online today, they said the nephew. And so I like to say the nephew because then that's a direct parallel with Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein, where instead of the little niece, it's the little nephew, right?
Yeah, at first tonight so in the first scene the nephew doesn't talk, and I thought he was just gonna be mute the entire time like the niece was.
They
I
gave
was
him
actually a little disappointed when they gave him
They gave him a
lines.
little more to do, unfortunately. I wish they would have made a bigger deal about the gun. More of like a Chekhov's gun style establishing shot of it. Because then, of course, I would have said, Chekhov's guns and ammo. You're going to fire. Plunging from a high place into a body of water. That's from Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein in the actual play. Let's see. Yeah, I mean there's just some weird things. I guess I don't know if that's out on
there's
it's
certain parallels.
It's out on an island, right? Because there's the sea captain has to take her out there. So
There's the sailor.
I feel like there's a chance that maybe they saw this.
They saw this.
I don't, maybe not, but they're like, maybe it's just a bunch of little like coincidences, like random synchronicities, but it's just a little bit like, I mean, again, this is a live.
I like to think that that's true.
This is a live teleplay. This is a live teleplay. You've got some big professional actors. I don't know that they clashed at all. But you had these two big professional actors. You had some story similarities. I don't know. Yeah, it's just if his best friend would have been a crab, then I really would have known for sure that they watched this. But no. So
there
again,
was the thing with the drinking, even though that was kind of also an Orson Welles thing.
Yeah, that's
Right?
yeah, well, they had the beef Wellington,
Yeah, the beef Wellington.
yeah, what was London, USA. That's right. Yeah, Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein is like the Adult Swim version of what we watched tonight. That's I think the best way to describe it. And
It's a good way to describe it.
it's a lot of fun. Again, it's only 30 minutes. It's on Netflix. So, again, I'm not being paid. I just love Frankenstein's Monster Frankenstein. I think it's a great way to celebrate Frankenstein Day. If you're looking for a fun, like, way to do it, something funny that you're going to laugh. And, again, watching the original
A good way to
Frankenstein.
wrap up Frankenstein.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm sad.
You got just enough time left in the day. Go watch it.
Yeah, go watch it. Enjoy. End it on a good note, and it was some good Frankenstein. Again, it's short, but I hope everybody's had a good Frankenstein day. I've had a good Frankenstein day, and again, it might as well be Frankenstein year for me. I'm always watching Frankenstein, loving Frankenstein, enjoying Frankenstein. Big fan over here, obviously. So, we don't have any other Frankenstein stuff. We have a Frankenstein-like tale later this season, but nothing directly
We've got
Frankenstein.
some science gone wrong this Friday.
We do. We have a lot of science gone wrong this season, but this Friday, we've got a whopper for you. This Friday, we are watching a 1959 Japanese-American co-production entitled The Manster, which I know it's had some other titles. One of the alternate titles is The Split. So it's very creepy. It's got a lot of atmosphere. I saw this maybe around college was the first time I watched it, and I was kind of blown away, like how much I enjoyed it. So I think we'll have a good time with it tonight. I mean, I don't think I'm giving anything away when I say that it's basically for the most part about a two-headed monster. If you look it up, you'll see the poster for it. It's got the two-headed monster on it, so it's obviously a feature of the film. So but obviously, as Evan said, it's all spirals out of a science experiment gone wrong. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Speaking of concoctions that may
science gone wrong.
May go right, yeah. Some science gone wrong. Well, the mixology department, Evan, of course, is always mixing something up for us to drink with the evening's film and a little segment which we call.
What were you drinking?
What are we drinking this Friday, Evan?
So this Friday we are drinking So
it's on you, buddy. You have a big decision to make.
Yeah, I've got a big. Well, it's not my show, but
but this is your segment. This is your segment.
Okay, I can thread this needle. Okay, so there is a recipe that I found for it's a shot called the red-headed blank. You can look it up yourself, just to be respectful for this very family-oriented show. So this Friday's drink is a spin-off of that, which I am calling the two-headed blank. Lady is, I think, what we landed on.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what word are you gonna substitute. The lady is the lady doesn't quite give it to you, but it's still usable, I think. So
yeah, you can figure it out. So the two-headed lady. This is the original drink is it's basically just a sex on the beach in a shot glass. And this, I'm going in a little bit different direction. I tried to think of some head-shaped fruits or flavors, and I landed on coconut and watermelon. I think that those are kind of like heads, right?
I think that you could definitely say that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so we got some heady flavors. This is a shot made of equal parts Jägermeister, coconut rum, and watermelon juice. So we're sending out the summer with some watermelon, some head flavors.
True. Yeah. Yep. I mean, I keep forgetting it's going to be a holiday weekend. I keep forgetting Labor Day is right around.
You're saying sayonara
corner.
summer.
Yeah, and that's it. It's all done, and then we're fully into spooky season. I mean, we here on the show we kicked it off last Friday with the Vampire Bat, but this Friday we're sending summer off with a nice little tropical. Would you say tropical for this drink? I don't know, like.
Yeah, this is coconut.
Yeah, coconut is pretty
Yeah, right.
tropical. I don't know about watermelon, but definitely coconut for sure. For sure, coconut. So that's going to be really good. So you can enjoy that delicious cocktail with us as we watch The Manster this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern here on Twitch and YouTube. Thanks everybody so much for watching tonight. Everybody who watched on Twitch and YouTube, as always. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. for another installment of 13 Demon Street. We started that off last week, diverted for a little Frankenstein love this week, and then we are getting back onto the 13 Demon Street next week. So traveling back there, taking the Uber back to 13 Demon Street. So
we got to row across the lake first.
we do. Yeah. It's our Uber row. It's a little bit more expensive a way to travel, but good workout, if anything. So you can go check out any of our past episodes over on our YouTube page at ScreamStream Live. We're over on Instagram and Twitter at ScreamStream Show. Of course, you can go follow me over on Twitter at Spakenstein. And Mr. Evan Sink is on Instagram and Twitter at Caligari Cursed. And as I finish that sentence, I before anybody chats anything at me, yes, I understand that it is now called X, but I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. I can't not call it Twitter. Just in case. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter. So, but if you prefer X, you can go follow us there. And please do. Please like and whatever you prefer to call it. And of course, we'll be bringing you some good old-fashioned public domain horror this Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern. So anything before we sign off for this lovely Frankenstein day, Evan?
So if the lesson of the original Frankenstein is teach your kids how to swim, is the lesson of this one teach your kids not to be rude?
Think so. We'll never know. Think about it. Think about it. Until next Friday. Sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.